Hello, everyone. This is Reverend Jerry Hobby, and I am just so happy to be with you this evening. And I am so excited to celebrate. We're at the end of our last book. I Am God in Disguise, and So Are You. And we are excited this evening because we are getting ready to embark on our final read. And just bear with me. I am going to put up the poster for this so that we can celebrate. And I'm going to invite you to just simply breathe with me for a moment. And as we're breathing, I'm just going to invite you to just settle in. We're going to settle in just honoring the presence of God, knowing that God is everywhere, that God is all there is. We're just letting go of everything it took for us to get to this very moment. We're just breathing. We're going to have a moment. Just unburden ourselves, our hearts, our thoughts. We're just going to allow ourselves to be nurtured this evening. Nurtured by the presence, by the energy and the vibration of that which Larry Hobby brings to us. What I know about this whole experience is that it is uplifting, it is inspiring, and that each and every single person that hears his words vibrate in that essence of truth, remembering their truth, that the God presence dwells within them, that there is a peace that passeth all understanding, and that peace is the essence that is unfolding within each and every single person. I know that it is this energy and this power that has already gone before. It has prepared the way. And what I know is it is rich and it is very good. And that this evening is the best evening ever. And so in the space of love, unconditional love, I simply release these words right now into the action of universal law. We affirm together and say, and so
it is.
Amen. So, beloveds, I am getting ready to turn this over to Larry Hobby. I know that it is going to be a wonderful grand finale for this book, and afterwards we'll be announcing the next book. Larry, I'm turning it over to you.
Okay, good evening, everybody. We're on our last chapter, and it's a good one. Okay, it's chapter 5. If any of you guys have the book. So the name of the chapter is Inspire. That even sounds great. So to get started, the author says the final stage on this journey is to live out your life as Superman, inspiring others on this path. Since this is an inside job, your friends and family might not even notice a difference. Sorry, no bulging muscles. No halo will appear over your head. This is all part of the game plan. You can now begin to work covertly on your mission, embedded among the sleepwalkers. If I had any regrets, it would be wishing I had reached this stage sooner. This is why I have spent so much time examining why we resist surrender. And during the process of writing this book, I figured out that I reached the discovery stage when I was about 30 years old. Unfortunately, I wasn't ready for surrender until I was 52. That's embarrassing. I must remind myself, no mistakes. I obviously still had many lessons to learn. When the dust settles after the long epic battle, we discover new beings has risen from the ashes. And I believe Spirit has been patiently waiting for this moment. If life is a game, the name of the game would be evolution. How long will it take for body and soul to evolve and become Superman. The many rewards of surrender that I have revealed throughout this book are immediate. They might be subtle at first, so pay close attention. These positive results will quickly reinforce your decision to surrender. All changes in life have a learning curve. The more skilled you become at following your inner guidance, the easier life will flow. We talked about being in the zone and the possibility of living in this state full time. This is what we're working towards. The pain, suffering, and struggles previously associated with life begin to melt away. And when you are in the zone, it starts to feel like life is stacked in your favor because of it. And it is. And as Superman, knowing you are hosting God on this brief earthly adventure, you will naturally feel the urge to keep your house in order. And with this goal in mind, you need to be strong, healthy, and full of energy. And if you're going to be a vehicle for God's expression, why not be a freaking Ferrari? And if your mission is to attract and inspire others on this path, we need to lead by example. Remember, our bodyguard has relinquished control. And with the giant back in charge, this becomes an easy, natural process. Destructive habits and addictions will begin to melt away. We didn't come into this world needing all this external crap to be okay. You will naturally move toward a life centered on wellness. This process was not a struggle like it was in the past when my motivations were ego-driven. Most spiritual teachings focus exclusively on the spirit and soul, vilifying the role of the body. I believe the body is equally important in any spiritual discussion, and possibly the most important piece of the puzzle. As I've said many times, the purpose of creation is evolution of the soul. The soul cannot evolve without a body. Although the soul is eternal, and it will get many return trips if necessary, the body only gets one try. And if we're lucky enough to discover the sleeping giant and courageous enough to surrender, we have earned the right to play this game at the highest level. I believe the spiritual path is meant to be fun. The fun doesn't really begin until after surrender. I believe many seekers get stuck because they fall into the trap of thinking this path is meant to be very sober, serious, and full of sacrifice. Oh my gosh, nothing can be farther from the truth. This is a lighthearted path that is full of joy, laughter, and abundance. When free from attachment, we can enjoy the abundance the world has to offer. When you hear someone say, life is a bitch, then you die. They have not yet discovered the truth. And I'm grateful for making it to this level of the game. And in a way, I feel like the veil has been lifted and some secrets have been revealed. I can only hope that by sharing some of my discoveries, I might speed up this process for others. And as I mentioned in the beginning, my motivation for writing this book was to share these discoveries with my kids. And I'm hoping they won't be as stubborn as their dad. Speaking of kids, we need more young people to join this spiritual revolution. The sooner they can get from discovery to surrender, the better. They will be our future leaders. And this is how all revolutions begin. Discovery to surrender, the better. Yes, they will be our future leaders. This is how all revolutions begin. Like-minded people come together and decide it's time to change. And if we're successful at inspiring young people, some of these awake young adults might become community leaders or run for a political office. Our world will quickly change when our leaders know the secret. And what will happen when this lighthearted generation begins to have children? As super parents, their children will be raised to understand these universal truths. This new generation will carry on the spiritual revolution we're starting today. Regardless of the love and awareness coming from these super parents, we all must leave the nest. Everyone must experience human nature and its many lessons. Primal fear, the creation of the bodyguard in the school of life, cannot be avoided. However, maybe with super parents, these children will have this awareness at a younger age, and their bodyguards won't need to be as strong or stubborn. As we now know, after surrender, we start to become kinder to ourselves and others. We have love and respect for all living things, including the planet. Wow, how awesome would it be to have this awareness as a child? Okay. This is not some crazy dream. This could happen very soon. And with a little help and some luck, this message can go viral. Why not? Do you see how fast negative messages and fake news are spread across the planet via Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and other social media platforms? Someone posts a video or a tweet, and within seconds, the world is buzzing about it. Maybe we can use this technology to our advantage. Can a positive message go viral? Well, Oprah, we need your help. We're long overdue for this spiritual revolution. We need to awaken the sleeping giant in all and reclaim our power. Unfortunately, most of us won't surrender until old age. It's up to us, lucky few, to share this awareness and inspire others. This is Superman's mission. This is the final step of our collective primal purpose as human beings. And as you've probably discovered or figured out by now, Wayne Dyer was a big inspiration when I first became a seeker. Dr. Dyer spent most of his life inspiring others on this path. Wayne wrote 38 books, including the children's book, I Am. Why two little words mean so much. This book teaches a simple but profound message that you are not separate from God. If you have kids or know anyone with children, buy them this book. You will instantly become an active participant in this revolution. Step out of the shadows and become a rebel. If you're met with resistance, don't be discouraged. You're surrounded by sleepwalkers. Don't give up. Let me give you an example of some resistance related to this message. In 2012, my son was in a leadership program called PALS, Peer Assistant Leadership, at his high school. This is a great organization providing a valuable service to the community. In a nutshell, PAL is all about kids helping kids. Students participating in the program help younger at-risk kids as mentors. Anyway, being the naive guy that I am, I purchased 200 copies of Wayne's children's book to donate to this program. Hay House was kind enough to add 50 free books to my purchase, which made it 250 books total. To my surprise, the donation was rejected by the program director. When I asked why, I was told, because this book teaches children that God is inside of them. Oh, wow, I was shocked. I thought this was a fantastic message that might help troubled kids improve their self-image and confidence. To make a long story short, I found another organization happy to accept this donation, and I learned a valuable lesson along the way. Not everyone is ready for this message, but do not be discouraged. While doing research for this chapter, I discovered that my description of the spiritual path is very similar to what Joseph Campbell called the hero's journey. Campbell explained that throughout history, our mythology and folklore have followed a common theme or template. He describes a hero who ventures from the common world into a world of supernatural wonder. The hero encounters many challenges along this journey. After claiming victory over his demons, the hero is transformed. In the final step of this journey, the hero returns to the ordinary world with the wisdom he has gained, which he may now use for the benefit of his fellow man. Campbell feels this recurring story shows a unity of human spiritual history. He calls it the story behind the story. This hero's journey can be seen in the life of Buddha, Moses, and Jesus. The template can also be seen in many popular movies, such as The Wizard of Oz, The Matrix, The Hunger Games, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, and The Lion King. What fascinates me is that this theme is naturally recurring. In other words, Moses was not trying to copy Buddha. Ancient myths originating on opposite ends of the planet naturally follow this common theme. What's the big deal? When something naturally repeats for the history of civilization, it should be considered a universal truth. I believe the spiritual journey that I'm describing in this book, The Birth, School of Life, Discovery, Epic Battle, Surrender, and Inspire, also falls into this category. Why does this story continue to repeat itself? Because there really is only one truth, and no religion can claim it. You are God in disguise. And once we remember this universal truth, as Campbell says, it's time to return to the ordinary world with the wisdom we have gained, which may now be used for the benefit of all. We will have a natural desire to inspire others on this path. And upon surrender, the sky will not open and suck you up into the heavens. As awesome as that would be, we still have work to do. And you will naturally feel a strong desire to serve. And you will lead by example and inspire others. This is the third and final stage of our collective primal purpose as human beings. Joseph Benner describes this stage beautifully in his book, Christ in You. It says, love must pour itself out. A longing came to me to help those who were coming along the road I had traveled, and to tell them something of the indwelling Christ. We love you all and long to show you what you possess. This is it. This is the Superman heroic mission. If you are one of the lucky ones who have made it this far, don't stop now. We will have a natural longing to inspire others on this journey. Those 6 magic words I discussed in the previous chapter, I devote myself to you, which were originally my commitment for surrender, have now become a call to action. As I continue using these magical words as part of my daily affirmation practice, I begin to hear this response. Okay, show me what you got. This reply was a pleasant surprise. I looked at this friendly challenge from the universe. Enough talk. It's time for some action. This call to action was another type of awakening for me. I started to wonder, what do I have to offer? You see, upon surrender, no one will be turned away. However, the universe will never dish out more than you can handle. Human nature and divine nature are equal partners on this adventure. I want this experience to be big. I want to proclaim, I am ready. Choose me. I can handle it. What might have been difficult as an unconscious sleepwalker has now become easy. And you'll find this urge to be strong and healthy is a natural post-surrender experience. I added these commitments to my daily affirmations as a response to the challenge. I am a strong, powerful man. I am healthy, wealthy, and wise. I am confident and courageous. I'm leading by example. And remember, I strongly recommend you write your own affirmations. We all know how personal weak spots, and this is a powerful tool for growth. These affirmations are your direct communications with Spirit, who is always listening to your sincere desires. Now, if these statements are not true in this moment, they soon will be. How do we attract and inspire others on this heroic journey? You will discover a creative life force now flows through you. All obstacles will be removed, and there will be a natural energy shift within. I'm not referring to a caffeine-like energy, but a high vibration in every cell of your body. You might not feel a difference at first, but those around you will notice. In other words, your energy will have a positive effect on others. I'm sure everyone has experienced this phenomenon at one time or another. You are in a public place, say a bank, store, coffee shop, etc., and someone walks through the door radiating a positive, feel-good energy. It's hard to explain, but you can feel an energy shift in the room. Their presence makes everyone around them feel good. And without saying a word, your new awareness has made you a channel for God's expression. It's a mystical, magical thing that starts to happen. You will find this energy now flows naturally through you. So get used to it. Obviously, this first example is very passive. Another method is to simply make eye contact and share a friendly smile with everyone you encounter during your day. If you want to take it to the next level, share a kind word. You will be amazed how a powerful smile and a few words can be. You won't need to force yourself to do this. After some initial awkwardness, this too will become natural. The next method of influence is a little more active. We can all lead by example. Again, be aware. Others are watching you at all times, especially when they notice you changing. This gives us a great opportunity to inspire. And how you speak and interact with others will begin to shift. For example, if you've always been a hard-ass personality type, you will begin to soften. And if you're quiet or shy, you begin to open up. And if you've been rushing through life too busy for other people, you will naturally slow down. Buddhism refers to this as the middle way, which describes moderation between extremes. This too is effortless. You will begin to feel a connection with life. You will look for opportunities to help those close to you. This is not exclusively for your fellow human beings, but also towards the planet and all living things. Don't panic. I'm not expecting this shift to turn everyone into compositing vegetarians who drive electric cars, but you will naturally begin to make more conscious decisions, feeling our connections to all of creation. The next development on Superman's journey will be an urge to contribute to the world. I'm not necessarily talking about money, although if you've got some extra bucks to share, there are many great organizations in need of financial support. Unlike the previous methods, this phase of heroic mission does take some effort. This is where we get to be creative. The recurring question should not be, what's my purpose? Since we all share the same purpose, a better question would be, how shall I serve? This is when personal preference comes into play. We get to break free from the pack and choose our own path. This should be fun. Just because human nature and divine nature have reunited doesn't mean you've become a robot. You've been given an amazing body, brain, mind, personality, and ego. Yes, even ego. When the bodyguard surrenders, the ego happily becomes the humble servant of the soul. This is when we get to show our individuality. Yogananda says, this purified ego merges with the soul and becomes our individual reflection of God on earth. What do you feel drawn towards? I promise you will feel a pull to do something. Do you like working with children, the elderly, or the homeless? Are you drawn to social causes or environmental issues? Although I say this takes some effort, you will not need to force yourself to do this. If it does feel natural, it's not the right channel. When I reached this point in my journey, opportunities coincidentally started to show up everywhere. I can give you a few examples of organizations I've discovered that have turned into amazing experiences. Water.org. This organization is helping people globally by providing resources for water and sanitation solutions. This has proven to be very empowering for women in these communities who have traditionally been responsible for collecting water for their families. The simple act of finding and retrieving water not only consumes many hours per day, but can also put these women into dangerous situations. Over the past 20 years, Water.org has helped more than 16 million people gain access to safe water. If you purchase this ebook, you have already begun your heroic mission. 100% of proceeds are donated to this cause. And www.safehoustongaustin.org, a safe place, Austin is an amazing women's shelter in Texas, offering tons of services to women in need. Some of the services include safe shelter, childcare, education, job assistance, medical, legal assistance, and counseling. Their Expect Respect program helps educate young girls on building healthy relationships and preventing violence and abuse. And www.metming.org, for nearly 4 decades, MetMen has been helping individuals and families in crisis by helping with emergency financial assistance combined with services to help the crisis from recurring. Help with rent, utilities, and food are the first step. MetMen's mission is to stop homelessness before it starts. And then there's www.danshouseofhope.org. Dan's House of Hope helps young adults fighting cancer heal through community supportive programming and home away from home services that reduce isolation, decrease financial burdens, and nourish hope. Then there's www.periwinklefoundation.org. Since the Periwinkle Foundation inception in 1983, pediatric oncologists have made great strides in providing the overall cure rate of children with cancer. Nearly 80% of children diagnosed with cancer now survive. While more children are surviving, successful treatment may leave them with mental or physical complications that can impact them for the rest of their lives. And periwinkle programs play a vital role in the overall healing process of these special children, teens, and families by providing camps and other life-changing programs. Then there's Vote.org. This organization uses technology to simplify political engagements, increase voter turnout, and strengthen American democracy. This is accomplished by maintaining an extensive website with information on voting deadlines, voter ID requirements, early voting, absentee ballots, and links to resources for all 50 states. In addition, Vote.org contacts potential voters to encourage them to register and vote. I mentioned these organizations for some real-life examples of opportunities to serve both locally and globally. If you have not been involved with any kind of service work yet, you will soon discover why I call this an amazing experience. In the beginning, I actually felt a little guilty since it made me feel good. This is truly a trifecta of goodness. First and most important, you get to help those in need. Second, you are leading by example and inspiring others on this path. Third, you discover how amazing it makes you feel. And finally, someday you may decide to remove your mask and take your heroic mission public. Although this step is not necessary to play this game at its high level, you might be able to, you might be able to have a bigger impact. And those choosing to go public might be inspired to create a nonprofit, start a blog, or become an activist. There is no ranking system when it comes to service. It's all good. You decide how you want to express yourself. You are the writer, director, and lead actor in your adventure. When I say the spiritual path is supposed to be fun, this is what I'm talking about. You are now co-creating You're, you are a channel of God's expression, and you will be amazing how your life will begin to change. The best is yet to come. To better understand the creation of Superman and our journey into a supernatural world of wonder, as Joseph Campbell called it, I will summarize the evolution of body and soul as I see it. I apologize for the constant repetition on this subject, but this is a very, very important stuff. And without this understanding, you cannot advance. So the journey of the soul, God's purpose for creation is evolution of the soul. The soul cannot evolve without a body. Yes, you are important. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Your body is born with a soul. Will the soul awaken and learn to commune with its mortal self? Can we get in sync, surrender, and merge? How does this journey end? Does the soul return empty-handed, or do we end this journey as Superman? This is God's game of life. And the journey of the body, man's purpose is to discover, surrender, and inspire. How long will it take man to discover the sleeping giant within? How long will the giant and the bodyguard battle before surrender? After surrender, will we become leaders and inspire others on this path? This too is God's game of life. And if you're one of the lucky few to reach this level of the game, you become a Superman. This is when the magic begins. Hopefully, we will all reach this stage with plenty of time left to play. Have you noticed the common denominator in these two stories? Man's purpose and God's purpose are one and the same. The quest to become Superman is the end game. Superman is God in disguise. And our summary on this is when the dust settled from a long epic battle, we discovered a new being had risen from the ashes. The final stage of this journey is to live out your life as Superman, inspiring others on this adventure. And as God in disguise, we will find the entire universe conspires to help us on our mission. This path was meant to be lighthearted and fun. And in this final stage, we discover the authentic joy associated with being part of the spiritual revolution. The time is now. Don't waste another moment. Be the change and inspire others. And that is the end of our book story. So hopefully everyone enjoyed this. And Reverend Jerry, I can't hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There you are.
Celebration. This is one of my favorite. I love the ending because it sums up the message that I've continued to give for years and years, and that is to encourage everyone to go and show up in the world with an official presence. And yes, we are God in disguise, and everyone we come into contact is truly a blessing. I am so excited to hear, and he did an excellent job of bringing it all together and just reminding us that part of our work here on this planet is to be in seva. I call it selfless sacred service. And that selfless sacred service is showing up in the world as a beneficial presence. Whether we're purchasing a book and using our purchasing power to go towards good, or whether it is showing up and being in sacred service for these different places that are doing extraordinary work. When I think about the effort and the energy that has gone into supporting kids with cancer, and that survival rate being turned around where there is an 80% survival rate, that is extraordinary in my book. So those are things. I know I'm a part of a nonprofit, serve on a board, and the intent and the reason I continue to show up for that nonprofit was they set an intention to take something that would be sad and transform it. A loved one made their transition from a rare form of cancer. And today, 10 years later, 10 years plus later, we are doing wonderful things in terms of increasing awareness and ultimately saving lives. This is what it's all about. Anyone would like to make any comments or to share anything? We're just opening it up right now. Well, Larry, you did a wonderful job with this. I would like to share our next book. And I'm excited about this next book that we're going to be sharing. So Larry is going to take a 2-week break. He's going to come back on the 17th of June. And let's look at the new book. Here is our new and it is Your Invisible Power. We even gave it special effects.
No, our invisible world.
Our invisible world. Okay. We have invisible power. This is part of that world. I am excited about this book. We have Bill Anderson and Reverend Annie P. Clark wrote this book. And I don't know Bill Anderson, but I can tell you some wonderful things about Reverend Annie P. Clark. And I'm really excited about our sharing this. I think that this is going to be one of our most profound books. It is about reflections of the heart. So I'm inviting you to join us on Wednesday, June 17th at 6:30 p.m. When Larry will begin this wonderful book study. And we may have some kindly surprises, so I'm inviting you to come back and show up for the opening class. And in the meantime, over the next 2 weeks, we're going to bring a wonderful celebration with you. We're going to be practicing heart math. So I'm going to invite you to continue to show up because we're going to learn how to just anchor ourselves and be a healing presence in the world. Anything else? Any more comments?
It was just always good to be on the call. This is Tanya, and I was busy until up to about 5 or 6 minutes ago. Topanga just picked up her daughter, so I had the baby all day, but I was still able to get on the call when we first got on. So it's just a blessing to be able to get refreshing information and positive, affirmations and stuff. So just wanted to say that. I'm sitting outside now, catching a breeze. I got a lot of vitamin D today. Nyla had me out here with the water gun, so she's been keeping me active and keeping me busy. I tell you, I got a whole bunch of exercise for the whole week today.
Wonderful.
And thank you.
Sacred service.
All right.
Taking care of our babies.
Yes, and I also went on the website and I did my donation of what I had left. I did 10% of that, so I donated the $4.90 to the Prosperity 3 thing. I did that earlier today.
Wonderful. I'm so excited to get to the class. And for those that are interested, there's one more week. You can join the Prosperity Plus 3 class. We had a wonderful time last night. It was orientation time, and we will start. We're going to continue to move forward next week, and we're going deeper next week with our classwork. So you're invited to join us, and if you're interested, just send me a little note, and we will work at getting you in. I'm glad that you enjoyed yourself. Wonderful. Well, I am inviting you to come back again and again. Larry, you did a wonderful, wonderful job. We so enjoy you and your what you bring forward with your books, and we're really looking forward to the next book. I thank you. And Larry, would you like to pray us out this evening?
Sure. Yes.
Oh, by the way, I forgot. Now, if you think Larry is really good in terms of facilitating and doing the book study, I'm going to invite you to join us this coming Saturday because Larry is going to facilitate science and spiritual practice meditation. And he's going to be sharing some wonderful work. He's going to share the benefits of meditation. And Larry, I can say that you were a student of Bruce Lipton. He studied with Bruce Lipton and did a weekend seminar with him many years ago. He's going to be bringing you cutting edge information regarding the benefits of meditation from Centerpoint, Paul Sheely, Bruce Lipton, and so many more. And Larry is a lifelong meditator. Are you going to be teaching us how to meditate or just go deep as a monk? Or what are you going to be doing, Larry?
Well, I'm going to teach people how to meditate as deep or deeper than a Buddhist monk. But it takes practice, but I will give them the tools.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And everybody knows that Larry loves to meditate. When the kids would come, even as young kids, they say, "Where's Uncle Larry?" "Oh, Uncle Larry's meditating." So he would go throughout the day and he would take a break and go and meditate. We look around and then all of a sudden he shows up and he's in a very good frame of mind. So I feel that this is going to be very valuable for all of us. So join us on Facebook Live at 11 o'clock this coming Saturday. We'll look forward to seeing you. Larry, why don't you close us out now? Let's wrap.
Okay. All right. So we just give thanks for this time that we spent together, this last chapter of the book. I know that each one of us have grown tremendously from the knowledge that we've attained from this book, all of the great information. I know that it helps us on our spiritual journey, helps us all to become Superman as our body and our soul unites, with this wonderful spirit that's within us. So I just give thanks for this growth. I give thanks for everyone that's attended this book study. And so I just know that everyone is growing tremendously from this. And I'm grateful and I'm thankful for it. And so I just let it be, and together we say, and so it is.
So it is. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
All right.
Okay. Wonderful. Good job, Larry. All right, Tanya, I'll see you at 8 o'clock. We got to take.
Talk to you later. Love you.
Bye-bye.
Hi, I'm Larry Hobby. Join me Saturday, May 30th for the Science and Spiritual Practice series. I'll be focusing on meditation, on the science of spiritual practice and meditation. And we'll even be going through some meditations. So join me Saturday, folks, because we're going to have a good time. And I'll see you then. I'm meditating right now. We'll see you Saturday, May 30th.